there is no longer any document binding us with UDA. It expired on the 7th of March. We have said that that extension is illegal.
There are some people who want to appoint themselves supervisors, as if we made the commitment to them. We did not make the commitment to them. We made the commitment to the people of Kenya.
I was made supervisor by my boss, Raila Amolo Odinga. If you want him to fire me as a supervisor, you talk to him.
When Mr. Sifuna speaks, he's speaking on behalf of the party. Mr. Sifuna, saa ingine hapana kwa chungu sana.
Kama Sifuna ameongea, ako na haki ya kuongea. Ako na haki ya kuongea. Kama wewe unatofautiana na yeye kwa maoni, sema yako. Sema yako. Sio ndio demokrasia? Mimi sijasema ati mimi usiongee kwa chama namna hii. Sema hata kama unaona baba anafanya makosa, sema.
I've nurtured so many people, even in my party, have people like Sifuna.
Nataka niseme hapa kwa sababu mimi ni mwanafunzi wa Mheshimiwa Raila Amolo Odinga. Huyu baba Raila Amolo Odinga, hakuna mwanasiasa Kenya hii ambaye anatusiwa, kukejeliwa, kukosolewa zaidi yake. Na amenifunza kwamba Sifuna, unapokosolewa inamaanisha wewe ni kiongozi. Kwa niaba ya chama kizima cha ODM, kwa sababu chama kinabeba wenye akili na washenzi, nataka kwa niaba ya wale washenzi niseme pole kwa matusi ambayo unaelekezewa. Na kama hakuna siku, wacha niseme bana, kama hakuna siku Mheshimiwa Uhuru chama cha ODM kimekuambia asante, leo nataka niseme kama katibu mkuu wa chama cha ODM, asante kwa kumshikilia baba. Baba Raila Amolo Odinga alikuwa anatuambia kila siku, wewe ni baadhi ya rafiki zake wachache ambao walikuwa wa kweli.
Raila's politics had two sides. Raila had a kind of a diplomatic political side that he used to consult whenever he goes into, especially when he's going into coalitions and negotiations with any side. And then he had a militant side. And the militant side is what you saw whenever he went to war. So what you're having today is actually a fight between two Raila factions. A political diplomatic faction and a militant faction.
I've been given mandate by my party to proceed and negotiate with our partners in the broad-based government.
Hatutoroki leo, dhima hiyo kitu mkutano iendelee.
Nataka niambie wale watu ambao wako Mombasa sahi ya kwamba siku ya leo wako na chama cha party, wako na chama cha ODM, lakini sisi tuna wanachama.
Oburu tafuta SG wako. Mimi siwezi kuwa SG wa Oburu.
Unfortunately, there are questions now that arise about legitimacy, that who are the legitimate representative of who Raila was. They are all legitimate because Raila was a complex political character, and all of them represent something he did. Now, the other part that came is that the militant side also acted, and this is one of the problems that has come in current days, that the militant side also used to work for Raila as an exit strategy. Raila will not go into anything without an exit strategy. So even when he began working with President Ruto, he had an exit strategy.
What was the exit strategy?
The exit strategy was the people who were fighting it.
Sifuna side?
Yes, that was his exit strategy.
Baba aliongea kwa kinywa chake mwenyewe. Na waomba viongozi msiingize maneno kwa mdomo ya mtu ambaye amelala. Alisema yeye mwenyewe. Akasema kama chama lazima tujiandae kwa ajili ya uchaguzi wa mwaka 2027. Na wale ambao wanaeneza mambo mengine hapa, baba alisema who has told you? Who has told you? Who has told you? Kwa hivyo sisi tutafuata the last standing instruction ya baba. Mukisema SG wenu wasimame kura 2027. Hiyo uchaguzi tunashinda tena mapema. So nasikia kuna watu wanazunguka wakisema ati ni baba pekee alikuwa anaweza kuangusha wao kura. Kuna mjumbe hapa ametuambia mtoto wa Simba ni nini? Simba.
He is a lawyer, legislator, political strategist and one of Kenya's most recognizable opposition voices. From defending constitutional principles in court to commanding political rallies across the country, Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna has built a reputation as a fearless debater and outspoken defender of his political beliefs.
Whatever it takes, Trevor, if it takes Sifuna losing the Senate of Nairobi to kick William Ruto out and make him a one-term president, so be it. That is a higher calling than me being senator.
Mshenzi mmoja ametambua kwamba kuna ubaya ya pesa ya Uhuru Kenyatta. Nataka niulize Junet. Wewe Junet, pesa ya Uhuru ilianza kuwa mbaya siku gani? Siku ile ulikuwa unachukua hiyo pesa na hata yote hukuleta kwa chama.
Mr. Speaker, I'm very well versed with Rule 30.
Just read Rule 30.
I am well versed with the rule. I just want to say...
I am not versed. Read it for me, please.
But you cannot direct me to read. I am saying...
Honorable Sifuna, read Rule 30.
I am well versed with the rule. Let me say what I want to say, Mr. Speaker. Yeah, let her read. Let's see how well she knows. I don't think there is any rule that requires that I can be directed to read.
Honorable Sifuna, take your seat.
Thank you.
The senator for Nairobi should simply support the motion and sit down instead of Kola-Shulman syndrome. Otherwise, you cannot threaten us as senator for Nairobi. For the first time, I have also spoken about this thing of threatening, and you know I rarely speak about these matters of things that look like discipline.
Madam Senator, I hope you will take the wisdom of that objection from Senator Madam.
Madam Speaker, I am not obliged to be lectured to listen to anyone. We have children. If you feel the need to lecture anyone, go home and lecture your children. I was not elected here to be lectured by anyone.
Sahi tunalia huko nje. Kama sio wewe Junet, tungekuwa kwa serikali. So, mimi huwezi nitisha bwana. Hawezi kunitisha. Wanasema Nairobi, ukipata sponsor mpya, usianze kutukana ule alikutoa kwa bed sitter.
For as long as I remain the senator of Nairobi, for as long as I remain a senator in this house, and the oath that I took there on the first day that I came to this house, there is not going to be a minister that we are going to, protect or babysit or cover up. It doesn't matter whether they come from ODM or from wherever. They are there to serve the public, and we will call them out, Honorable Speaker, as we have always done. So, Honorable John Badi, I will call him by his name.
So Sifuna, how do you uphold the separation of powers?
The public can see why I cannot take advice from Farah Maalim. Yeah. When he tells me to go slow, my wings will fall off. They are my wings. Let them fall off if they will. But I will move at the speed that I'm moving with.
It's good to also be respectful. Okay. I get it. To each
Agreed.
other. As we must
Are you done?
I get it.
Are you done? Because
we don't come here for insults. Okay. We don't come here for insults. And we don't come here with small points. Okay. Like my brother.
Fine.
But you do.
Let him explain.
And having a big head doesn't mean that you have a big point.
That's fine.
Are you getting?
But the point...
Explain.
If a point is little, everybody can see it's a little point. It's not me belittling it, Kagushia. Read the law.
No.
What does the law say?
Listen.
What does the law say?
You know the problem is Sifuna,
you are a lawyer, Bana, my friend.
Yes, I'm a lawyer, and I think I'm a better lawyer than you.
But you're speaking like a mamamboga. So I am telling you, Ekuru, you have what we call delusions of grandeur. Nobody wakes up thinking about Ekuru or Third Way Alliance. We let you run alone in a repeat election. You came up with 18,000 votes. That's a third of the votes that I got in Kileleshwa ward.
Do you have a plan that says 6.5 million shillings is here?
Yes.
How do you plan to do this accounting? Do you want to hang on a second?
You can actually show a spreadsheet of your expenditure.
Are you going to do a spreadsheet?
If the people who have given us
money
ask
the question?
Yes.
Thank you.
And I would wish you speak about your money, Yvonne. Don't speak about other people's money.
No. We're here. We hold this job in public trust. And the questions we're asking are questions by the people.
These are not taxes.
They may not be taxes, but they are money that is owed to people.
Today on Inside Story, in our Focus News channel, we take an in-depth look at the journey of the man who rose from legal practice to become one of the country's most influential politicians.
There is no obligation on our part to speak about the successes of the government. They also have mouths.
Let them go out there. They have a government spokesman, they have cabinet secretaries, they have parrots like him. Let them talk about those successes. It is not incumbent upon us to talk about those successes. Number two, they have national communication. They have a national broadcaster. They can go there and talk about those successes.
Hatutoroki leo, zima hiyo kitu mkutano iendelee. Zima hiyo kitu mkutano iendelee. Makosa yangu kubwa sana, nimesema kwamba Ruto 2027 lazima aende nyumbani. Na nasema hivyo kwa sababu ni nyinyi mmenituma. Ruto, tafadhali wacheni fujo. Hii mkutano haikuishi bwana, leo watatuua tukiwa hapa Malemba.
Hakuna mtu ambaye ana uwezo ya kunifukuza ndani ya chama cha ODM. Wewe tulia tu. Sisi Waluya tunasema mkienda kuwinda mnyama ambaye amekuwa akikula kondoo, anakula kuku yako, amuendi wote kwa laini moja namna hii. Sijui kama mnanielewa. Mnanielewa? Wewe ingilia hii pande, akifikiria ni wewe, anasikia amepigwa mshale ya kifua. Anasikia mwingine amemshika shingo, mwingine amemshika mguu, kidogo kidogo fisi wapi? Chini. Kwa hivyo mimi nataka mkae ngangari. I said ODM is through with us.
Is there any permutation where you would
I said ODM are through with us, and they have demonstrated it.
Okay.
Yes, they have said, including removing us from WhatsApp groups. I don't know where he was. Like by the time you're being kicked out of your WhatsApp group, those people are tired of you. Yeah.
SG tena siku hizi sio naibu wa kiranja, lakini vijana wameniambia leo ninatoka kwa SG ninaenda kwa HE. Unajua HE?
When Raila Odinga died in October 2025, many believed opposition politics in Kenya had died with him. For a moment, it felt like silence had taken over. But then, a new voice cut through. Not calm, not careful, but bold, loud, and impossible to ignore. That voice belonged to Edwin Sifuna. Sifuna is not your typical politician. He doesn't wait his turn, he doesn't play it safe, and he certainly doesn't fear power. He calls it out directly, even when that power sits at the very top.
Mheshimiwa Rais, mimi ndio Sifuna.
Ni nani? Ni nani? Ni nani?
Na nyinyi ni kina nani? Bas. Lakini kuna zingine Mheshimiwa Rais, sema Waswahili, mwiba wa kujidunga hauambiwi pole. Kuna watu kwa serikali yako kazi yao ni kushika handball kila siku.
Na nimesikia Sifuna anaongea na nguvu. Wakati unaongea mambo yangu Sifuna, ujue mimi ndio mwanzilishi wa ODM. So unaenda pole kidogo. Yes. Sisi ndio tulianza hii kitu. Ama namna gani? Na unajua ukinisukuma sana nitaitisha mkutano ya founder members ya ODM. Si ndio? Na unajua tukiitisha hiyo mkutano tunaweza kufanyia discipline sisi ambao tulianza chama. Si ndio? So twendeni mosmos.
Hii vita yote unasikia nikipigwa ndani ya chama cha ODM ni kwa sababu moja tu. Nimesema Ruto one term.
And let me tell you my brother, hiyo chama Kasongo atakufukuza.
I have said and I want to repeat here that the positions we hold are not permanent. Sifuna was not born to be SG of ODM forever. I have done 7 years. This is my 8th year as SG of ODM. I did not do 7 years as SG of ODM by second guessing Raila. I know the man. I speak to him. He's my guide. He's my mentor. I say these things because are the things that I believe in. And I believe that Raila's position has always been that we as ODM can only walk the journey with people who are like-minded. Pro-people political parties.
At the time, it sounded like politics as usual. But a year later, that warning became real. The meeting happened and Edwin Sifuna was removed from his position.
ODM Secretary General Edwin Sifuna is no stranger to controversy, but his recent outburst against the ODM-UDA pact has triggered one of his biggest political tests yet. Bold, outspoken and often defiant, Sifuna now finds himself at odds with the very party he helps lead. Is he speaking truth to power or biting the hand that feeds him?
Embattled Secretary General Edwin Sifuna, who survived his ouster at a special delegates convention last week. Sifuna, whose tenure as the party's SG has been hanging on a thin thread following a ruling by the political party's disputes tribunal, now has 4 days to show cause why he should not continue, or he should continue being the party's Secretary General. In a letter signed by ODM's national chairperson Gladys Wanga, the party accuses Sifuna of gross misconduct with 5 charges lined up against him.
Now, ODM's Party National Executive Committee has resolved to dismiss Secretary General Edwin Sifuna over what it termed as misconduct and disobedience to party rules. Sifuna was kicked out after a meeting that lasted almost 5 hours and which he was conspicuously absent. Busia woman representative Catherine Omanyo, who is the Deputy Secretary General, will assume Sifuna's role in acting capacity until a substantive Secretary General is appointed.
Having deliberated on matters relating to the conduct of the Secretary General, Senator Edwin Sifuna, the NEC resolved to remove him from office with immediate effect in accordance with the party constitution and applicable laws.
Mimi ndio nilikuwa deputy party leader wa ODM. Si mnajua hivyo? Mimi ndio nilikuwa deputy party leader wa ODM. Hata mimi nilipatiwa hiyo barua. Na ukiona umepatiwa barua kwa ODM, unajua mambo yako sasa ndio inaanza kuiva. Mambo yako So Elisha, usikwe na wasiwasi. Kabla hujapata barua ya ODM, mambo yako bado. If you know how to go forward, vile ya kufaulu kwa siasa, ni upata barua ya ODM. Bas, mambo yako hiyo ya disciplinary hiyo. Hata mimi nilipelekwa kotini na ODM wakajaribu kunifukuza. Tukasumbuana kotini, mtakuja niwaambie vile ya kupanga maneno. Tukasumbuana kotini 5 years, ikaisha, tukaendelea, mimi nikakuwa deputy president. So iko shida iko wapi?
Rais wa awamu ya 6 wa taifa la Kenya ambaye pia atakuwa ni amri jeshi mkuu wa majeshi yote ya humu nchini, Mheshimiwa Edwin Watenya Sifuna.
Baba hakulea watu waoga. Baba alikuwa anasema kama ni kutuua watuue, lakini tutaenda tuongee ukweli kila siku.
For many politicians, that would have been the end, a fall from power, a slow fade into irrelevance. But Sifuna didn't fade. He rose. Instead of disappearing, his voice grew louder.
Nikiwa bado katibu mkuu wa chama cha ODM, Senator wa kaunti ya Nairobi.
His support grew stronger, and across the country, especially among the young people, his name started to spread. Because in Kenya today, many voters are drawn to something different. Not quiet leaders, not careful politicians, but bold, fearless, and unapologetic voices. And Sifuna fits that image perfectly.
Bana befe mulembe. Mulembe Mulambo nanga burai. Huko juu kwa Guardian mnaniona vizuri. Hapa mnaniona vizuri. Pande hii mnaniona vizuri. Mimi ndio Sifuna. Na nyinyi ni kina nani? Ati nyinyi ni kina nani? Sisikii uko juu, nyinyi ni kina nani? Na hapa ni wapi? Hapa ni Isuru, sio Isuru? Walikuwa wanasema hatuwezi kufika, tumefika, hatujafika.
Now, a question that once sounded impossible is being asked more often than ever. Could Edwin Sifuna become the next president of Kenya? To answer that question, we have to go back. Back to a time before the headlines, before the power, before the spotlight. Edwin Sifuna was born on May 22nd, 1982 in Bungoma County. In Kenyan politics, that makes him relatively young. Sifuna developed an interest in public affairs and leadership from an early age. He pursued a Bachelor of Law degree at the University of Nairobi, graduating in 2006. Determined to join the legal profession, he proceeded to the Kenya School of Law, where he earned his postgraduate diploma in law in 2007. In 2008, Sifuna was officially admitted in the role of advocate, beginning his legal career. His background in constitutional law and public policy would later become the foundation of his political career. But his journey was never easy. There was a time he had no influence, no strong connections, and barely the resources to represent himself the way many politicians do. But what he lacked in status, he made up in something far more powerful: vision. And one defining trait: he was loud. Not noise for attention, but noise for impact. The kind of voice that challenges authority, the kind that disrupts comfort, the kind that forces people to listen. That voice would eventually take him to one of the most powerful positions in Kenyan politics, Secretary General of ODM. But he didn't get there the traditional way. He took it. Back in 2016, ODM was facing internal uncertainty. A powerful figure, Ababu Namwamba, was on his way out, and many believed he would align with the government. The party needed a new direction, but instead of waiting, Sifuna made a move no one expected. He organized a youth gathering, marched to the party headquarters in Nairobi, and publicly declared himself the new Secretary General.
Well, there is something called absence without leave, even in military parlance. And if you have followed what the military do, a junior officer has every right to relieve a commander of his command, even a general, if he deserts his post. So we are saying that at this particular juncture in time, seeing that we are only about 12 months away from the election, we cannot afford for somebody to sit in an office that he does not want to, carry out the duties. There is no longer a shortfall of personnel in the office of the Secretary General, because from today, Edwin Sifuna is the Secretary General of the party.
No official appointment, no approval, just boldness. The reaction was immediate: shock, criticism, rejection. Ababu Namwamba dismissed him, calling him irrelevant, a nobody within the party.
First of all, I would ask, who is Edwin Sifuna? Who is Edwin Sifuna? In the structure of the party, in the leadership of the party, I know no character called Edwin Sifuna, and I will not respond to a character who holds no official position. I don't know who he is. I don't know who he's speaking for.
He's in the dispute resolution
I will not
of your party.
I'll really respond.
Do you not recognize that role that he plays in ODM?
No. Those are small things that I would not want to respond to. It's a time waster.
But politics move fast. And sometimes today's nobody becomes tomorrow's power, because slowly Sifuna began to rise. He earned influence, he gained visibility, and most importantly, he gained trust from Raila Odinga himself. Sifuna became one of Raila's most loyal and vocal defenders. He said the things others were afraid to say. He attacked where others hesitated, and he did it loudly and unapologetically.
Mtu kama Cherargei, yeye anaweza piga nani hapa mbele vile munaona hapa. Who can Cherargei fight here? He talks like that because he knows he's going to hide behind the instruments of violence of the state. Senator Cherargei, instead of organizing your boys to come and fight peaceful demonstrators, just come and fight Sifuna. Hey, akuje tu tukutane watu wawili.
By 2018, what once looked like rebellion became reality. Sifuna was officially elected as the Secretary General of ODM. At just 34 years old, he had entered the top ranks of one of Africa's most powerful political parties, ODM. But his story didn't start there. It runs deeper. Sifuna comes from a family where politics was not just discussed, it was lived. His uncle Lawrence Sifuna was part of a generation that stood up against repression in Kenya. During the difficult years leading to the return of the multi-party democracy in the early 1990s, voices like his refused to be silenced. They faced arrests, threats, uncertainty, but they stood firm. That legacy matters, because in many ways the same spirit lives on in Edwin Sifuna.
Zima hiyo kitu, mkutano iendelee, hatutoroki leo. Funika na jacket, mkutano lazima itaendelea.
From Musingu Boys High School to studying law to struggling, failing and rising again, his journey was never smooth, but it shaped him. He didn't just become a politician, he became a fighter.
Mimi nimesema sitakubali mtu anichagulie marafiki zangu. Sitakubali mtu anichagulie maadui wangu. Oburu, tafuta SG wako. Mimi siwezi kuwa SG wa Oburu.
History has been kind to Edwin Sifuna. In 2009, through a Nairobi University classmate, the young lawyer was introduced to his political mentor, veteran opposition leader and former Prime Minister Raila Odinga. The meeting marked the beginning of Sifuna's political journey, one that would see him transition from a young lawyer into one of Kenya's most prominent opposition voices ahead of the 2013 general election.
The first time I met him actually was while he was still Prime Minister. That Silas Jagakimba used to work in his office, yes. And we were in the same class in campus. So when we were going into the 2012 election, yes. He said, oh, as lawyers, we can sit together and do something for Mzee. We wanted to support the campaign. We were young people. There, Kipchumba, Murkomen were in that room that day when we met Baba. So it was first arranged by Jagakimba, who was my classmate. We met at the Prime Minister's office. We talked about... there was those conversations that time about the new constitution. They needed to explain to Kenyans what devolution is going to look like and so on and so forth. I can't quite remember whether it was 2009 or 2010, but it must have been 2009. Okay. Yeah, because I remember I was not employed. I was tamaking in Nairobi.
The 2013 general election marked Sifuna's first major political setback. Uhuru Kenyatta defeated Raila Odinga in a closely contested presidential race, with William Ruto serving as his running mate. The victory came despite both Kenyatta and Ruto facing charges before the International Criminal Court at the time. For Sifuna, who had thrown his political weight behind Odinga and the opposition, the outcome was an early lesson in the unpredictability of Kenyan politics and the challenges that lay ahead.
After the 2013 election, many of us were very, very disappointed. We thought that election was also a slam dunk because he was an incumbent prime minister and he was part of government. And
Kalonzo was the vice president.
Yeah, Kalonzo was the vice president. And we were running against people who had been indicted at the ICC. So, sometimes Sisi, what were ODM, yes. We moralize a lot of things. Yes. We in our heads, there is no way a Kenyan is voting yes. for somebody who's indicted for crimes yes, against yes. humanity.
Yes.
But we were shocked.
Between 2013 and 2016, Sifuna served as a legal advisor to the opposition coalition, first through the Coalition for Reforms and Democracy, CORD, and later the National Super Alliance, NASA. The experience placed him at the heart of opposition politics, sharpening his legal and political skills while deepening his relationship with key opposition leaders. It was during this period that Sifuna began establishing himself as a formidable voice within Kenya's opposition ranks, laying the groundwork for the bigger political role that would soon follow. In February 2018, Edwin Sifuna was elected Secretary General of the Orange Democratic Movement (ODM), succeeding Ababu Namwamba. The appointment marked a turning point in his political career. His articulate media appearances and confrontational debate style made him one of Kenya's most visible opposition spokespersons.
Respect law and order. Yes. We cannot be shouting the way we are shouting.
Nobody should scare you that we are perpetuating an illegality. The illegality has worked out.
Under Odinga's political mentorship, Sifuna took his first direct shot at elective politics. He unsuccessfully contested the ODM parliamentary primaries for the Kanduyi constituency seat. Later that same year, he turned his sights to Nairobi, contesting the Senate seat, but victory remained elusive. Sifuna lost to then Senator Johnson Sakaja, who would later become Nairobi governor.
Our party leader is very well loved in Nairobi, and that even when I ran in 2017, although I had a very short period to campaign, I got almost 700,000 votes because of Raila Odinga and because of the ODM party structures and the support that he has in Nairobi.
The setbacks, however, did not end his political ambitions. Sifuna remained active within the opposition ranks, steadily building his profile and political influence. 5 years later, in the 2022 general election, his persistence finally paid off. Sifuna clinched the Nairobi Senate seat, marking a major breakthrough in his political career and cementing his position as one of Nairobi's leading opposition figures.
Watenya Sifuna as duly elected as Senator, Nairobi City County.
As senator, Sifuna became an active participant in legislative debates, county oversight, and national governance discussions. He has consistently championed accountability, devolution, youth inclusion, and constitutionalism. Known for his sharp legal mind and persuasive communication skills, Sifuna has established himself as one of Parliament's most outspoken legislators. Whether addressing the Senate, appearing on television talk shows, or speaking at political rallies, he rarely shies away from controversy. Supporters describe him as principled, articulate, and fearless. Critics argue that his confrontational style often places him at the center of political disputes.
Mr. Speaker, I'm very well versed with Rule 30.
Just read Rule 30.
I am well versed with the rule. I just want to say...
I am not versed. Read it for me, please.
But you cannot direct me to read. I am saying...
Honorable Sifuna, read Rule 30.
I am well versed with the rule. Let me say what I want to say, Mr. Speaker. Yeah, let her read. Let's see how well she knows. I don't think there is any rule that requires that I can be directed to read.
Honorable Sifuna, take your seat.
Thank you.
The senator for Nairobi should simply support the motion and sit down instead of Kalonzo syndrome. Otherwise, you cannot threaten us as senator for Nairobi. For the first time, I have also spoken about this thing of threatening, and you know I rarely speak about these matters of things that look like discipline.
Madam Senator, I hope you will take the wisdom of that objection from Senator Madam.
Madam Speaker, I am not obliged to be lectured to listen to anyone. We have children. If you feel the need to lecture anyone, go home and lecture your children. I was not elected here to be lectured by anyone.
Edwin Sifuna has proven that he commands a deeply loyal and energized following. In the days following his dramatic fallout with the Orange Democratic Movement, where he was expelled as Secretary General, Sifuna wasted no time taking his message directly to the people. Launching his Linda Mwananchi agenda, he has toured several regions across the country, starting with Kitengela, where tensions quickly escalated. What began as a political rally turned chaotic after police moved in to disperse the gathering. Tragically, the confrontation left one person dead, marking a dark moment in his early mobilization efforts.
Several people were injured as the ODM Edwin Sifuna-led Linda Mwananchi rally in Kitengela in Kajiado County ended prematurely, where the tear gas canister was lobbed.
Hatutoroki leo, zima hiyo kitu mkutano iendelee. Zima hiyo kitu mkutano iendelee, hatutoroki leo. Hatutoroki leo. Makosa yangu kubwa sana, nimesema kwamba Ruto 2027 lazima aende nyumbani. Na nasema hivyo kwa sababu ni nyinyi mmenituma. Ruto Hebu nione wale wa one term. Mimi nataka niape mbele ya Mwenyezi Mungu na mbele yenu kama wadosi wangu. Mahali nimeshikilia sibanduki. Kwa sababu baba hakulea watu waoga. Baba alikuwa anasema kama ni kutuua watuue, lakini tutaenda tuongee ukweli kila siku. Ninyi mnaweza kushinda kunizika bwana. Kwa hivyo wale wanasema wataua Sifuna, watu wa Busia waambieni muko tayari, mnajua mpaka nyumbani, si ndio? Hatutatishwa na mtu yoyote.
Sifuna is the king. Sifuna is the king.
Despite the setback, Sifuna pressed on. He continued his tours in Kakamega, Narok and Mombasa, Kisii, Kisumu, Bungoma, drawing crowds and amplifying his message of people-centered politics. Each stop has reinforced a growing narrative that his political influence may be far from over and possibly just beginning.
Hii pesa yote ambayo unaona nimeshika hapa ni watu wa Kimini ni wametupatia hapa. Na ni kwa sababu kuna wengine walisema hati hawezi kuwa rais kama hauna pesa. Sisi tunawaambia hata kama hauna pesa na una wananchi, unaweza kuwa rais wa nchi hii. Wetangula! Mudavadi!
As Kenya's political landscape continues to evolve ahead of the 2027 general election, Edwin Sifuna's name has increasingly featured in conversations about the country's highest office. Supporters across the several counties, particularly during the Linda Mwananchi movement rallies, have openly urged the Nairobi senator to consider running for the presidency, describing him as a youthful, articulate and reform-minded leader capable of offering the country an alternative political direction.
For the first time, Nairobi Senator Edwin Sifuna has openly signaled his intention to run for president in next year's general election. Speaking in Bungoma, Sifuna said it is Kenyans who will ultimately decide whether he is fit to succeed President William Ruto.
Na ndiposa sisi tumesema ya kwamba kama jamii mwaka wa 2027 tunapiga kura pamoja, na kule kwa meza kama sio Mluya anakuwa president, wale wenzetu watuambie ni kwa nini Mluya hawezi kuwa president wakati huu. Haitakuwa ni mambo ya emotions na mambo ya kuitiwa kiti. Atuwe kuja hapo kuwe prime minister, kuja kuwe speaker, sisi tumekataa. Mimi niliwaambia kwamba hii mambo hii cheo ya Wetangula hii ni vitu fake. Hii kitu ya Mutavuta ni kitu fake. Hao pia kwa serikali wanaomba tu maendeleo vile wengine wanaomba maendeleo.
Na mkiona mimi nimesimama imara na mheshimiwa Sifuna, ni lazima mjiulize ni kwa nini. Mjiulize ni kwa nini.
Ukweli ni kwamba huyu kijana Sifuna ametoka wakati iko opportunity kubwa ya kwenda mbele. One ni kijana. Saizi kuko na msukumo wa vijana wa Gen Z. Pili, ako katika jamii ambayo ni kubwa mno. Wangapi hapa wameamua tunapindua hii serikali kwa hali ya kidemokrasia? Nione kwa mkono. Nione one term. Sasa mkubalie tutembee na Sifuna, tuende kila mahali, tushikane na watu wengine, tutafute Kalonzo, tutafute Matiang'i, tutafute Wamunyoro, tutalete Orengo, tukae chini tuamue ni nani atashikilia hii kitu.
Sifuna akikuja hapa atuambie yeye leo, kwa sababu tuko na wiki mawili kufika kwa mwaka election, atuambie anasimama, kama anasimami aungane na sisi kwa united opposition twende mbele.
Sisi Biblia inatuambia Mungu ataturejeshea miaka yote ambaye ililiwa na nzige. Hawa wananchi hawa ndio wenye kupayana title zote. Hata mimi kule ODM wanafikiria wakininyang'anya katibu mkuu, wakifikiria wakinitoa kama naibu kiranja wa chama ama wa wale walio wachache kwenye Senate, wanafikiria hamutanirudishia. Nyinyi ndio wenye kupeana. Saa hii nasikia mnasema mnataka kunipea kiti ingine. Mumeamua? Mumeamua? Mimi nawaamini kwa sababu hiyo viti yote ni nyinyi mnapeana.
Despite the growing calls, Sifuna has stopped short of making an official declaration.
I can feel it when you say you are Sifuna. I can feel the support. Hakuna hata kitu kingine naweza waomba zaidi. Wallahi. Wacha tuone kati yenu na mimi nani atatoroka wa kwanza. Wallahi. Atatoroka wewe, atatoroka. Hatuwezi toroka. Mheshimiwa Mwizi, nataka kuona hizi sura hapa. Kati yenu na mimi nani atanunuliwa wa kwanza? Hatuwezi kununuliwa. Hata tuweke bet leo, si ndio? Si mnaogopa nitanunuliwa? Pia mimi naogopa mtanunuliwa. Mnaogopa nitatoroka? Hata mimi naogopa mtatoroka. Siku ile nitageuka nyuma. Nikumbuke ile group ilikuwa hapa kwa Muhisa. Mumenichocha, nimeingia gas vizuri, nimetangaza. Nigeuke nyuma nione hamko. Mungu aliye juu. Yeye ndiye atadili na nyinyi.
Speaking during recent media interviews, he said the movement is carefully weighing its options and consulting supporters across the country.
Mwananchi.
Yeah.
For now it is a movement?
Yep.
Party?
No, it's a movement. I mean,
is there a future of it being a party? On what platform, for instance?
Yeah, so you have seen that Linda Mwananchi has drawn its membership from across the political divide. Amongst the founder members of Linda Mwananchi are members of the Wiper Party. We have members from other political parties who have said that they identify with the movement. At some point, and we can feel the pressure from the public and from the aspirants as well, and everybody who's invested in Linda Mwananchi, to get organized, because it is clear, they say in Swahili, akufukuzai hakuambii toka. It is clear that those in the leadership of ODM now are done with us.
However, at the rallies,
yes,
it is mimi ndio Sifuna, sisi ndio Sifuna.
Yes, absolutely.
So by and large, even when it is a Linda Mwananchi rally, you are seen as the leader of it, the figurehead of it.
I understand that, but I'm saying all those people who are calling themselves Sifunas can be president. There's no bigger Sifuna amongst all the Sifunas in the country.
And if they asked you to run for president?
That's why I'm saying we should make that decision together.
Okay. If that decision is made,
what I know is,
and they say run for president, is that something you would want, you would do?
I've told them, for as long as I don't turn back and find you guys have disappeared. And that's why you see me asking them, Mona ni chocha? Diboto ya gazeti? And then they say no. So let's see, because we have a lot of work to do in order to have a viable candidature, in order to have a viable campaign. But I am not one to run away. You know that. You've known me all these years. There's no day a responsibility will be placed to me or a call will be made to me and then I run away. We have to answer the call of the country. We have to answer the call of our generation. And I believe that if the people feel that this is the best way for us to proceed, we will not say no. We will proceed with the people.
What is going to happen is that we are going to transform ourselves into a political party, because our continued stay in ODM is no longer tenable. Remember, Linda Mwananchi started off as a breakaway from ODM. In terms of the broad-based arrangement, we did not agree with it.
Today, Sifuna is no longer just a party official. He is a movement, a symbol, especially for young voters, of defiance, boldness, and change. His strategy is clear: build a new generation of leaders, connect with Gen Z, and challenge the establishment head on. His goal? To defeat William Ruto in the next general election.
Jambo la kuvunja moyo sana, ati tuamke 2027 William Ruto amepita na kura 200,000 kwa sababu Sifuna alimea pembe akasema yeye pia ako kwa debe. Kalonzo akasema ako kwa debe. DCP wakatoa candidate. Iwapo mtampa William Ruto hiyo nafasi ya kurudi, tutakuwa tumewakosea Wakenya, kwa sababu Wakenya kwa kweli wanaumia, na Wakenya wametuambia wanataka nchi tofauti.
But the real question remains: is it truly possible, or is this rise just another moment in Kenya's unpredictable political story?
Do you still want to run for Senate of Nairobi?
Let's cross that bridge when we get there. I don't know why you're in a rush. Because I've told you there's decisions to be made, and those decisions are not Sifuna's decisions alone, you know. We have to carry our people along. I've been very grateful to these leaders, because, you know, there was a time, Yvonne, when nobody wanted to be around me, because immediately they see you with me, there are grave consequences to be suffered.
Signals emerging from Rigathi Gachagwa's camp appear to suggest the possibility of an alliance between the former deputy president's allies and the Linda Mwananchi movement.
Edwin Sifuna, I want to tell you, my brother, you are a good leader. Ukifukuzwa na William Ruto, you are welcome to DCP. William Ruto amesema hata huyu Babu Owino akinunua ODM akwe. Babu Owino ukifukuzwa na William Ruto, this is your home.
You just said you needed no inducement to impeach Rigathi Gachagua as deputy president.
Yes.
Now you say you could possibly work with him. What has changed?
Nothing has changed, because you see, first of all, as a lawyer, I will tell you there is a rule against double jeopardy. So he paid for his mistakes. He was impeached. What else do you want me to do? Impeach him? He already was impeached. I already voted to impeach him. And it was for specific crimes, which we have discussed here, you and me. But I'm telling you, he's the one now who's saying William Ruto is actually an existential threat to the country, and whatever it takes that he can do to help remove him. And by the way, there's a curious thing that he says, that he feels largely responsible for William Ruto becoming president, and that therefore he has a greater responsibility in removing him than anyone else. And that is something that I agree with, because at the end of the day, we have to kick out William Ruto, you know. So if he's going to, and I've given this analogy, that if he's going to hold the leg of the animal that we are hunting, and somebody else holds another leg, and another one distracts him, and then we are able to put down this animal, it is okay for the future of the country. A lesson needs to be taught in 2027, Yvonne, that if you come to office through democratic means and then you refuse to listen to the people, or you abandon the cause of the people, and you do the things that William Ruto has done, and we have gone through how we have gotten to this particular point in time, that you have to be removed. And I think it will help our democracy, so that even the next person who succeeds William Ruto in office in 2027 will know that for as long as you depart from what you promised Kenyans and you start doing your own things because you think now you are a big man, you'll also be kicked out.
The prospect of a broad opposition coalition is increasingly taking shape, bringing together political forces that have traditionally operated on different fronts.
So we will be taking important decisions as we go forward. We are also, the party leader was given the mandate to engage other like-minded political parties, because we all recognize that time is of the essence. We have entered the election year, and so we are talking to Democracy for Citizens Party. We're also talking to, again, re-engaging with PLP. Democracy for Party leader is, of course, our brother Rigathi Gachagua, and also our sister Martha Karua of PLP. We are talking to others, including Chief Justice Emeritus, who has also indicated they may want to join this coalition as we rebrand and as we get together. And of course, also, we are talking to Linda Mwananchi.
As Linda Mwananchi, we have gone around the country. Your Excellency, our people want to see us together. They want to see one team united, as the people who believe that President William Ruto does not deserve a second term, and that the message we have carried from the ground in all these places that we have gone is that we must preach the unity of the opposition. And it's a unity that is based on certain values, and I'm coming to that as our second agenda here today, is to try to build consensus amongst the leadership of the opposition as to what they view is important to the people of Kenya at this particular moment in time. Your Excellency, increasingly we hear from young people especially that democratic governance and freedoms and the values that are expressed in our constitution are better than these shiny things that we see, because they believe roads can be built by anyone, but only a Democrat will protect the freedoms and the rights under our constitution. So we started these consultations or courtesy calls. We had a chat with your brother, Fred Matiang'i. We have come to you. We will be looking for all the other leaders in the opposition with the same message, Your Excellency. And we are hoping that we will not let down Kenyans, but will present one formidable team. As we say, huko kwa ground, team ni moja, term ni moja. Timu ni moja.
And as these alliances take form, the political debate is shifting to an even more consequential question. Who among the opposition's key players carries the strongest electoral currency to lead the ticket and mount a formidable challenge to President William Ruto in the 2027 general election? For Edwin Sifuna, this could be a moment where years of political experience, opposition activism, and growing national visibility are put to the ultimate test. For now, Kalonzo Musyoka remains the established face of the united opposition, with decades of political experience and a long record at the center of Kenya's opposition politics. But Edwin Sifuna increasingly appears to be carrying the momentum of a younger, more defiant political generation associated with the Linda Mwananchi movement. If the two camps eventually come together, the debate may no longer be about whether they can work together, but about who should lead and in what order to maximize the coalition's electoral appeal. Would it be Kalonzo Sifuna, drawing on Kalonzo's experience and established political base, or Sifuna Kalonzo, placing youthful energy and a new generation of leadership at the forefront? The answer could shape not only the opposition's strategy, but potentially the entire political landscape heading to the 2027 general election.
Many people have been thinking Kalonzo would be a nice compromise candidate, but you see Sifuna again is coming very strongly. Many of the people who want to see this country change see that being delivered by Sifuna. So perhaps they'll be very disappointed if you tell them to back a legacy politician like Kalonzo.
Create some energy, create some vibe, because people are not feeling him, you know. Otherwise, if he is not very careful, he will be forced to do an Obama-Biden thing, whereas Sifuna becomes a candidate and him is forced to be the running mate.
When Barack Obama entered the White House in 2009 as America's 44th president and the country's first African-American president, he was 47 years old. His running mate, Joe Biden, was 65. The age and experience contrast offers an interesting parallel to Kenya's emerging opposition debate ahead of the 2027 general election. By the time Kenyans head to the ballot, Edwin Sifuna will be 45, while Kalonzo Musyoka will be 73. Like Obama, Sifuna would be entering the presidential race after serving one term in the Senate. He was elected Nairobi Senator in 2022, giving him a national political platform from which his profile has continued to grow.
Kwa maombi yenu na uwezo wa Mwenyezi Mungu, ako hapa kama katibu mkuu wa chama cha ODM, kiranja walio wachache katika bunge la Seneti na senator wa jiji hili la Nairobi, Edwin Sifuna. Good morning.
Good morning, Latif. And,
good to see you.
Mariam, thank you for having me on your show this morning.
Ukiangalia huko mbele, utaona Sifuna. Utaona nani? Sifuna.
Those who want to pull us backwards, we tell them, oh, no. Those who want to pull us backwards, we tell them what? No.
And like Biden, Kalonzo brings decades of political experience. His career stretches back several decades, including service as Kenya's vice president. The comparison is not about suggesting Kenya will replicate America's Obama-Biden ticket. Rather, it highlights a question increasingly confronting the opposition. Can youthful political momentum and generational appeal represented by Sifuna be successfully paired with the experience and established political networks of a veteran such as Kalonzo? If such a partnership were to emerge, the biggest question would remain the same: who takes the top seat and who plays the number 2 role.
2027 is a different ballgame. You know, you can't compare 2027 to anything else. This is going to be the most complicated and complex election we have had as a people. Because you see, even the absence of Raila alone complicates the matrix.
The question now is, can Edwin Sifuna lead a 2002 moment? In 2002, a united opposition pulled off a historic political upset, defeating former President Daniel Arap Moi's preferred successor Uhuru Kenyatta in a landslide victory.
Honorable Mwai Kibaki is ahead of the next presidential candidate, that is Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta, by a very wide margin. It is not likely that the margin can be eliminated. That means, on the aggregate, Honorable Mwai Kibaki has majority votes. He has also scored over 25% votes of the registered voters in 7 out of the 8 provinces. The Electoral Commission therefore declares Honorable Mwai Kibaki the President of Kenya.
More than 2 decades later, the question is whether Edwin Sifuna can help recreate that kind of political moment, bringing together a fragmented opposition, mobilizing a new generation of voters, and mounting a formidable challenge ahead of the 2027 general election.